There's about 22 days left in 2020, and that means that there's 22 days left to hit some of the requirements that are now mandated for employers. So, when I talk about sexual harassment prevention training, most of our doctors, you're immediately going to go to your continuing medical education requirement, what you had to have in order to renew your license. And I just want to tell you, stop. There's actually more. The reality is you have to take two different sexual harassment prevention training courses. The first one you have already done, at least you did when you renewed your license. You attested that you completed that specific training. That is a course that was specifically approved for CME. However, there is an additional course that you must take, and it is separate, it is different, and it has to be in addition to that course. Is there overlap? Yes, there's going to be overlap. There's going to be information that is identical to what you would have learned in the sexual harassment prevention training that you took for CME approval. But there is an additional course that you have to take, and more importantly, or just as importantly, so do all of your employees. So this training is both for you and all of your employees, and it must be completed by the end of the year. Now, here's the good news. The state has put together very specific training guidelines. In fact, so much so that they developed what they consider to be model training that you can utilize for training in your office, and they've made available for free. And so what we have done is inside of this YouTube description, you will find a link directly to that specific training. It's a simple PDF that's done in the very much like a PowerPoint presentation. And then it's also, if you're watching this on our website, you'll see it in the write-up down below in the article, so you can see it there as well. Either way, it's going to be available to you very quickly to access, and so you can download that PDF and use that for your training. And again, there is no cost, but you do have to do it both for you and for your staff. So there's a couple of different ways to deliver this training. So what does that look like? Well, the first way would be the very simplistic way, which is you distribute the PDF to your staff. You have them read through carefully all of the slides and become familiar with them. And at the end, once they've completed reading through that, then they would sign the certificate that is at the end. They print that off, and you take that certificate. You need to maintain that certificate. You're required as an employer to maintain that certificate. You take that certificate and use it in their employment file or in a specific sexual harassment prevention training file that you've developed, right? And so that's key, and all of your employees must do that once a year. And so that's why you have 22 days left to finish that up for 2020. And okay, now the other way that you can deliver the content is you can take that exact same content if you want to, and you can train everyone at the same time. So you could actually, take and utilize a PowerPoint and train all of your staff at the same time, and then complete the certificates for them for their file upon the completion of that process. There is a third way, and it's not necessarily what we recommend, and it's using an outside source to do the training that you cover the cost for. But two things happen with that. One, it does still cost you money. And two is, quite candidly, you have to be absolutely certain that it meets all of the requirements that the state has set forth. So if they miss a required component, then it wouldn't count, and they still would have to do the state level training. And so what we're really recommending is use one of those first two options, which is to use the PDF that's available. Again, it is free, and take that training. Again, I want to be really, really clear. I know this is duplicative. I know you're going to take it twice. As a registered lobbyist at the ICS, those of us who are registered lobbyists have to actually take sexual harassment prevention training for lobbyists. We have to take ethics training, which has a component of sexual harassment prevention training built into it. And then we have to take discrimination training, which also has another small component, again, overlapping in regards to sexual harassment prevention training. And then lastly, we have to also take then the sexual harassment prevention training for employees as well. So, there's a lot of mandates, and we have to adhere to them. And this is an easy one to do that has very, very little cost impact, and also has very positive impact potentially for your office in regards to more awareness and more understanding for how to prevent sexual harassment in your office and in the workplace. But jump out there, take the training, get it wrapped up in the next 22 days. We'll catch you next week.